talking real gunslingers. I'm talking real outlaws.
Hello everyone, this is South Florida Milsim. Today I want to do something a little bit different. What I want to do is talk about some of the different kinds of sights that are available today and go over some of the pros and cons to each of them and talk about, in my opinion, what's the best sight out there. Now first off, I want to say I've been playing Airsoft for many years now, and over those years I've learned a lot about the different sights that are available and learned a lot of pros and cons to each of them. Now, this is all my own personal opinion. In the end, it's going to be up to you to find or to choose exactly what you want to use and what will work best for you. Now, first off, I want to talk about just the normal airsoft sights that come with 90% of airsoft guns. Now, I really don't like these at all. First off, they're extremely heavy, they're really bulky. Even though there's a carry handle on it, you don't really need that very much. Second off, they don't really have, you can't adjust them that far. And what happens with airsoft guns is even when they're shooting flat, the BB is still curving up slightly. And what happens is the BB ends up curving over the sight, and the sights are basically useless. So you end up just watching the BB and shooting with no sights in the end. Now that leads us to backup iron sights. These have some pros over just the normal iron sights. First off, they're really small. Compared to this, they're pretty much nothing. They're also extremely light. And one really big thing with these is they're a little bit more adjustable sometimes. So you can actually zero them in where they're actually usable. Another thing that's good is you can use them as they're intended to and use them as backup sights if you're running a red dot or some other type of sight like that. Now, when a lot of newer airsofters are looking to upgrade from just the normal iron sights, they look at a scope and they think, oh, I'll be able to get headshots every time. I'll be shooting at 80 to 100 yards with this thing and I'll be a sniper. With sniper rifles, these are useful and they do have their place as sniper rifles. But in just the average kind of AEG or normal assault rifle, these aren't very useful. First off, when you're looking through the scope, you have to line it up and most people have to close one eye to actually see clearly down the scope. So that limits your field of view greatly right there. The next thing is when you pop it up, you have to adjust your eyes so it's at the right spot and all that, so that just makes it slow. You can't snap up and snap between targets really quickly. And because of the zoom, you also have to find the target when you actually bring up the gun. Now, as I said, these do have their place with sniper rifles and higher powered DMRs. But in reality, with airsoft, you're never going to be shooting past 100 yards with any gun out there. So pretty much all airsoft is mostly close quarters when you really think about it. Now this leads us to red dot sights. In my opinion, these are the best sights that are available. The reason being is you're able to shoot with both eyes open, so you have full peripheral vision and a very large field of view. You're also able to shoot very quickly and able to transition between targets and snap up onto the target very quickly. Last, they're very, very precise. You're able to dial them in very accurate actually, and you're able to get some very precise shots out of these. So now we're going to go over the different types of sights that are available, or different types of red dots that are available. The first type out there is the basic reflex sight. These are the cheapest out there, and they're very good compared to other types of sights, but in the red dots, they're on the cheaper end. They're the cheapest out there, so they have the lowest quality, and they have some other cons. First of all, most of the mechanism for zeroing it is mostly on the outside, so if you were to hit the scope against something, you would right there lose your zero. Also, how it works is there's a light emitter back in the back, and it shines the light up onto the front, which makes the image of the dot. And what can happen, since this is all open in here, if a drop of water or something or dust were to go into here, it could distort the dot up here, making it useless, or it could redirect the light and have the dot projected somewhere else on the screen, so right there would ruin your zero. So there are some shortcomings to this sight, but they are still fairly good compared to other options. Now there's other sights out there. One very popular one is the EOTech style sight. Now these have some shortcomings that I don't like. First of all, the reticle on the EOTech style sights are very large. It's not just a simple dot. It's a dot with a large ring and a bunch of other stuff on there. So it's very distracting to me having all that on there. Also, at longer ranges with that huge reticle, it can actually cover up some of the target and make it hard to see the actual target. So in my opinion, the reticle and the EOTech isn't very good. The next problem with the EOTechs is they're very large, and they add a lot of weight to your gun in bulk, which I prefer everything to be as light as possible. Now another style of sight that's out there is the Comp M4 style sight. With these, they do have some pros to them. First off, they're extremely durable. Second off, I like the reticle in them. It's just a plain dot, so it keeps everything simple. But the cons to it is, like the EOTech, they're very large and they add a lot of bulk and weight to the gun, which I don't like. Now, this brings us to my personal favorite type of sight out there, and that's the Aimpoint T1 style sight. In my opinion, these are they're perfect. They're very small, they're very lightweight. They are also extremely durable. I've seen some really crazy torture tests on these sights, and they've just come out and done great in the end. This, just like the Comp M4 style sight, it just has a plain dot in there and it's very simple. Also, all of the emitter and mechanism for zeroing is all on the inside, so you're not going to have any problems with water getting in between the emitter and the front lens and distorting anything. So even if this is completely wet with rain or whatever, it's still going to work and hold its zero. Now, this specific sight I have on here is the Primary Arms Microdot. I'll leave a link in the description of where I got it. These are actually real steel sights, and they're very, very durable. They're built to withstand recoil of real guns and very harsh conditions. These are just very high quality, good sights, even for airsoft. And the other thing I like about the T1 style sights is you could put them on almost any type of gun. I have them on my MP7 here, and it fits right on there. It's very small and it does the job extremely well on that. So now this brings us to pistol sights. Now there's not a lot of options when it comes to pistol sights. You're basically just ending up using just plain iron sights. With that, however, I prefer just a plain fiber optic front sight and a blacked out rear sight. If you want to learn more about why I choose that, you can watch my in-depth review of this pistol, and I talk about why I choose that type of sight. Now, in the real steel world, there are some red dots that are available to have mounted on the slide of some handguns. However, in airsoft, there's not really a good option for that. So if I could find a good red dot that would fit on this handgun, I would get one, but there's just not one available, so I'd just stick with iron sights. Now, I just want to reiterate again, this is all my own personal opinion, and it's up to you guys to choose what you want in the end. I'm just doing this to maybe help you guys choose a little easier what you want. Now, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.